HKL to hold a debriefing on contingency strategy following yesterday's fire. ASEAN and Australia leaders discuss North Korea's deadly threat. Good afternoon, I'm Cynthia Arthur. You're watching News on 2. A short circuit is believed to be the cause for the fire that broke out in the storeroom of the pathology lab at Hospital Kuala Lumpur's National Institute of Forensic Medicine, IFPN, yesterday. According to Kuala Lumpur Fire and Rescue Department Director Kiruddin Rahman, the storeroom contained post-mortem equipment made of plastic. Kiruddin added that 5 fire engines from the Titi Wangsa and KLCC fire stations, along with 31 personnel and 8 officers, were rushed to the scene upon receiving an emergency call at around 12:20 p.m. Kiruddin also commended the hospital staff for taking the necessary action while waiting for the firemen to arrive, such as switching off oxygen supplies in the hospital.
Bahagian kejuruteraan telah berjaya isolate dia punya satu elektrikal, kedua bekalan oksigen, sebab di laluan kebakaran tadilah tube ataupun saluran oksigen yang disuplaikan kepada bangunan-bangunan di hospital inilah, dan tindakan mereka cukup baik benar. Ianya juga membantu untuk mengurangkan impak kebakaran yang berlaku.
The fire had destroyed almost 40% of the IPFN pathology department. However, no casualties were reported. 2 hospital staff who were trapped during the 12:20 p.m. fire were saved by firemen. Some 19 bodies kept in chillers at Kuala Lumpur Hospital's mortuary had been temporarily moved to another facility. Meanwhile, the hospital's emergency department will hold a debriefing meeting with its top management to set up a contingency strategy following the fire. According to Emergency Medical and Trauma Department specialist Dr. Alzamani Muhammad Idrus, the meeting would involve heads of departments, matrons, as well as those from the engineering and pharmacy divisions to discuss the business continuity plan. Dr. Alzamani, in a statement, said the matter would be discussed in detail to ensure the safety of all patients and staff, adding the hospital system and operations would go on smoothly. Dr. Alzamani Muhammad also noted that the situation was well handled due to swift response from all parties. Australian and Southeast Asian leaders began their high-level talks in Sydney today, aimed at strengthening economic and security ties and discussing how to deal with the threat posed by North Korea. Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull told the meeting that North Korea is one of the region's most pressing security challenges.
So our task will be to respond with tangible initiatives for new cooperation on economic, education and security issues. And later at our retreat, we'll discuss some of the region's most pressing security challenges, including how to respond strongly and effectively to the deadly threat posed by North Korea. We have a full agenda.
The chairman of ASEAN this year, Singapore Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, meanwhile praised Australia's long-standing partnership in the region in areas of defence, strategy and maritime. The 2-day summit hosted by Australia includes the 10 members of the Association of Southeast Asia Nations, ASEAN. It has been marked by protests against the regimes of Myanmar and Cambodia. Yesterday evening, the leaders received an Aboriginal welcome before they attended the leaders' dinner. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak has called on ASEAN member countries and Australia to step up and intensify cooperation in preventing the spread of terrorist ideologies. He also stressed the need to hone even more effective approaches to counter the threats of radicalization and violent extremism in the Asia-Pacific.
Your Majesty. Malaysia therefore stands ready to assist in finding a just and durable solution, just as we are cooperating with our neighbours in a peace processes in southern Philippines and southern Thailand. We must be vigilant and increase our collaboration.
Datuk Sri Najib was speaking in his keynote address at the closing ceremony of the Counter-Terrorism Conference held at the International Conference Centre ICC in Sydney, Australia. The Prime Minister was the only representative of ASEAN to be invited to speak at the closing of the conference. The Counter-Terrorism Conference is one of the major lead-in events during the two-day ASEAN-Australia Special Summit. The conference highlighted the importance of regional collaboration to address the shared threat of terrorism and violent extremism. In a separate development, Datuk Sri Najib pointed out that Malaysia's preventive laws are a powerful and effective weapon in combating violent extremism and preventing possible incidents of violence. According to the Premier, there was a need to have certain legislative powers, such as laws that were formulated and implemented in Malaysia, like the Security Offences Special Measures Act, SOSMA, Prevention of Crime Act, POCA, and National Security Council, NSC Act.
Kita ada pasukan polis dan keselamatan yang bekerja dengan bersungguh-sungguh untuk mengesan dan memberkas pihak yang berkemungkinan melakukan apa juga perbuatan yang bersifat keganasan ataupun violent extremism. Kita perlu juga kuasa undang-undang. Jadi bila ada kuasa undang-undang yang boleh kita kenakan terhadap mana-mana individu yang berkemungkinan besar melakukan sesuatu jenayah seperti keganasan, maka tindakan itu sangat berkesan.
Datuk Sri Najib also highlighted the model adopted by Malaysia, which had so far shown to be successful in ensuring the security of the country. The youth agenda will be among the main themes of Barisan Nasional's manifesto for the 14th general election. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said the matters that will be given emphasis in the agenda are housing, jobs and youth involvement in resolving various issues. Speaking at the Malam Sanjungan Kasih Alumni 4B Negeri Pulau Pinang dinner last night, Datuk Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi highlighted that the younger generation now was unlike their predecessors because they were more exposed to various information channels like social media.
Mereka sering menganggap generasi alumni ini tidak relevan. Kotak pemikiran masih berbentuk konvensional atau tradisional. Oleh yang demikian, apabila kita bergerak di dalam alumni ini, kita harus merapatkan jurang perbezaan pemikiran dan kita harus merelevankan pemikiran kita dengan kaedah dan cara pemikiran yang ada pada mereka. Kerana pendedahan ilmu, berita dan pembuat keputusan turut berubah.
The Deputy Prime Minister also urged for alumni to play their role in guiding the present generation while boosting their morale to continue to be active in organizations. Football, Pahang eliminated holders Kedah from the FA Cup after avenging last year's defeat in the final with a 1-0 win in a third-round match in Kuantan last night. First chance by Pahang's Francis Forkido in the 7th minute was tipped away by Kedah goalkeeper Mohamed Ifwat Akmal. In the 22nd minute, a free kick attempt by Kedah Sandro da Silva was saved comfortably by goalkeeper Helmi Eleza Ilyas. Mahamadou Sumare, who has been one of Pahang's best players this season, produced a stunning flying header, the only goal of the game, to make it 1-0 for the home side just before the half-time whistle was blown. In the second half, Liridon Krasniki's free kick was saved by Helmi Eliza in the 80th minute. The home side's attempt to double their lead in the 90th minute through Faisal Halim was prevented by Ifwat. Sumare's only goal of the night booked Pahang a spot in the quarterfinals of the tournament. Meanwhile, a hat-trick by national young striker Safawi Rashid in the 11th, 41st and 72nd minutes assisted the 2016 champions Johor Darul Tazim JDT to progress into the quarter-finals with a 3-2 defeat of UITM FC at UITM Stadium Shah Alam. The hosts scored when Argentine forward Lucas Puig sprang the offside trap and scored just before half-time after rounding goalkeeper Farzal Marlias, while Faiz Bandung scored in the 90th minute. That concludes this afternoon's edition of News on 2. In our top story, ASEAN and Australian leaders discuss North Korea's deadly threat. News on 2 will be back at 7 p.m. Till then, I'm Cynthia Marilyn Arthur. Thank you for watching and have a pleasant day.